So are you short-sighted or far-sighted?
No, I've got like stigmatisms. So my left eye can see short, and my right eye can see far.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like
that doesn't
your
surprise
eyeball is a little bit like oval shaped if you have stigmatism.
How long you been like that?
No, it was from university. It's because you stare on your like laptops or shit without that blue light. This is what happens to your eyes. So university, working in a dark room, like late at night, not using natural light, that just strains your eyes and your eyes.
Hey, you must have been studying very hard.
I was very diligent in university, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I didn't want to waste my parents' money, to be honest. It's easy to coast in high school, you know how easy it is.
Yeah.
But uni, they'll kick you out as soon as your grades go down.
Was your family going through a hard time or something? Or you just didn't?
No, I just felt that because I have a sense of the value of money. Because like my parents were one of those that started me understanding money from like the age of 8, making me work in my uncles and aunts' chocolate factory. So like understanding if I want this much money or this, if I want to go here and it costs 20 rand, I need to work an hour, you know. So in my head I've always worked on like value,
the time value of money.
Exactly. And how I told my mate, like, who wanted to buy a headset, and I was like, bro, tell me how much is the headset? Like 800 bucks, for example. It might have been a little bit more. And I was like, okay, so in like 24 hours, if you played with that headset for 24 hours, it's cost you 33 rand an hour. I'm sure you can afford 33 rand an hour for better entertainment. You know, like my brain is just wired like that. But anyways, that is not the point of this podcast.
Very interesting.
The in-depth insight of my life.
No, even just that calculation or even understanding it like that. But does that mean
how much money do you earn an hour?
Yeah, no, that counts. That counts for sure. So you know whether you're wasting your time or not.
Exactly. And if I can afford it.
Yeah.
Some people can't afford that 33 rand an hour, then don't get the fucking, because you're not earning it to make up all the other shit that makes up what it takes.
So do you do that calculation about everything all the time?
Not when I'm doing like holiday stuff and stuff like that. I'm also a believer of like when you put in like times of like you want to go on holiday, so you put reservation, you book the ticket, there's always like something that happens that makes that money for you to enjoy the holiday. It's just like human nature. I think that's the parenting effect as well, because like we spoke on it, like I think one of the first podcasts that we've ever did for LoudSpoken, we spoke about like the parenting thing, and even in one of these confessions that came out today, that was probably chat on, it was also about the pregnancy and the parenting. And fuck, where was I talking?
No. Maybe we should just pause that there.
I don't even know where we were.
And do our introductions. For those of you who don't know, you're listening to and watching LoudSpoken.
How
you know what I'm saying? I'm Uno the Dank Dude.
I'm Shan the Canna Man.
There we go. Man.
So that rosin got me super high before the show. God
damn,
I'm mumbling there. Why did I even get on that track?
You've been yapping.
I know, dude. God damn.
No, but I was also locked in. I was like, interesting.
God damn, bro.
So
shout out to whoever did that to us. Lulu, thank you.
There's something that I want us to talk about.
Yeah, that's what the podcast's about.
Yeah, exactly, right. And we're on that loud.
You not that loud, I'm loud.
No, I said we on that loud.
Oh yeah, I'm on that loud, yeah.
I guess I wasn't. It's true, I wasn't that loud, but I'm for sure on that loud.
You are.
And like one time when I was on that loud on my own, I had a thought, a very loud thought. I'm serious, bro. I even typed it into ChatGPT.
Okay, really ChatGPT.
The real ChatGPT, not just
the phrase,
not the brand, not just the brand, but the actual AI. Right? And I was asking myself this question. I don't know if people ask themselves, because I felt weird when I was telling somebody. So I was like, nah, let me tell Shannon and find out what Shannon thinks about this shit. dog, and this is just the premise, right? The premise is that men and women they balance each other, right? On a universal global scale, right? Universal.
Yeah.
Like mathematics, LHS equals to RHS.
Okay.
But it's on this side and now it's on this side. And when they're together, it balances. Right? So that's my perception of men and women. Yeah. They're balanced. But then I was like thinking about menstruation though.
Oh yeah.
I was like, man, if men and women are balanced, what is the male equivalent of menstruation? Like
you phrased it. What was it? Maelstration. I don't know, bro. You've got to speak more on this topic because from my side, I do see guys go through dips.
Yeah.
But I think that's not to do with their hormones because we're not built that way, and that's what science, like doctors, way. Like I'm not even way close to this field. You know what I mean? I'm the last person to probably talk about this.
It's out of. You don't have the range.
I do know that like some of my friends joke about like, oh, he's having his PMS, isn't he?
Yeah.
But that's just like days where dudes are feeling down.
But my question is, why is that not hormonal?
I guess it has got to do a little bit of like hormones and chemical imbalance and stuff like that. But it's literally not our body flushing shit out of our body.
Okay, yes, maybe
which
not,
is like a lot of minerals and ions and.
What is important in this conversation?
Yeah, please.
Is for you to take your chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
And ask it so that people can know that. The thing is, like, what I read, I don't know if that was like
what was
just hype. What is
the male equivalent?
Maybe we should ask ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Let me ask DeepSeek so we can get an aggregate of AI answers, like real scientists.
I'm interested to see. While there isn't a direct male equivalent to premenstrual syndrome, PMS, some researchers and experts suggest that irritable and mood swings in men can be linked to hormonal fluctuations, particularly changes in testosterone levels. Some men experience conditions called irritable male syndrome, IMS, characterized by irritability, anxiety, depression, and mood swings. So you have IMS, not PMS.
That doesn't sound real.
I swear. However, it is true. Essentially note that IMS is not an officially recognized medical condition and more research is needed to understand its cause and effects. Other factors can contribute to mood swings and irritability in men, such as stress, sleep deprivation, hormonal changes, certain medical conditions. It is crucial for you guys to address these issues through open communication, self-care, and seeking professional help when needed. Some solid fucking advice.
and it's a case.
I hear you. I guess we're gonna have to.
And the thing is, right?
You should have sent me this. You did send me this topic. I should have done a little bit more research into this.
No, I wanted to catch you off guard.
You did,
yeah.
Because it would be interesting to. I just feel like on a female body, just they do go under so much stress. Their body's literally losing.
Yeah.
And so that I can feel is also makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Makes you fucking like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
But I also believe that for dudes, it is mainly like what it said now, like sleep deprivation, stress levels, that does push you through. And if you're not mentally sharp, and it's not to say that you're not mentally sharp, I'm saying if you're not mentally sharp on it that day to take away the bad thoughts and remove them with positive ones, then depression's going to come and you're going to snap at your girlfriend or you're going to snap at your friends a little bit quickly. But fuck, to call it to label it as intense as PMS is intense.
No, and that would be disrespectful to women. And that's actually like, if I think about on like where that thought actually came from, it was like, man, my girlfriend is going through this shit and I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not like she's struggling in school.
Yeah.
I can
help. I've got ChatGPT.
You get what I'm saying? Shan was a diligent student. He studied hard. He can tell us how he did it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but something like that, and it's also so unique to every woman. So
it is true.
So I would never by any means like disrespect.
But that's where if you are in a relationship, you communicate that shit. Be like, how do I assist you? How must I be? Do you need space during these times? How must I? And then you just work around it.
My observation is that as soon as her PMS starts, my IMS starts.
Oh really?
Yes.
You're gonna have to do a trial. 1,000 men and women have to participate. This video better get 1,000 views and all of you couples.
We need the data.
Oh, we need more.
We need the data, the research.
I think there's a lot of more single people nowadays, bro.
You think so?
I think so.
That's crazy.
I really believe.
Shit. I also believe that
and there's a lot more divorces happening. I think people are getting into all of these other types of things, like, what do you want? The polygamy. What's polygamy? The one where you have multiple?
Yeah, it's polygamy.
Yeah. That's popping up in America like wildfires. There's swinger parties happening left, right and center. So
but America should never be a standard that we follow as the rest of the world.
No, we speak a lot about America.
Yeah. You're wearing America
cap.
You're also
wearing Make Mzansi Gold Again. Which is quite fitting. You know what I mean? I'm wearing Trump fonts, Make America Great 2024.
Yeah.
And I think he's had one hell of a
impact. And we didn't plan this. Wow.
We didn't plan this at all.
That's quite interesting. Wow.
The universe is making a great collab here for us.
Like the Trump effect, bro.
We coining that phrase.
I was sitting. We should make t-shirts.
It's very unfortunate because we had such a great podcast last week, and then we'll just call it the juju in the air corrupted the file. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or someone's prayers are working really hard.
You'll get it with
more on that later.
He's masterful. But the Trump effect, it's hitting hard. We spoke a little bit about AfriForum, but it's even bigger now than just that AfriForum.
No, listen. So
scandal.
I was having some dinner with my family, and I'm like, no, this is my family. So no matter what I say, they can't like cut me out or cut me off. So I'm like, so what do you guys think about Donald Trump? Oh my God.
Oh yeah? What did they say?
The table split like the Red Sea.
Oh no.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay, awesome.
And I was the only one on this. I was the only one on that side, right?
Okay.
And then because you and I had the discussion and the conversation, I was able to just jump into the point of what I was saying. Is like, what do you guys think about the Trump effect? I didn't even have to explain it. They knew, like, oh my God, this is the Trump thing. You know, the Trump effect. And they're like, yo, because my brother's girlfriend is a PhD economics, so she's talking about how
South African girl.
Yes, African girl, and how it's impacting his decisions. Obviously they're going to impact the economy, and she's an economist, so she's seeing
she knows.
She's watching the shit,
the
numbers, the economic indicators, etc. And she's like, it's bad because it's volatile.
It's very volatile.
But
you're seeing that in the markets.
But change is like that. Like there's no change that you're ever going to go through. If you go through a change and it's smooth, you haven't changed.
That's so true, dude. No,
there's no such thing.
And humankind is so scared of change, bro. Like, you know, the funny thing is, when we come through the change, we learn. Even though the goal might have been to change some way, and you kind of miss the mark. Yeah, definitely. Shout out, little pocket rocket.
Okay,
sitting in once again, high grow.
Let's go.
In our favorite corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the human nature is just to be. I think the one thing that everybody has. I'm reading this Robert Greene book, which is that 50 Cent book, which is
I remember you showed me.
Yeah, really cool. And they say, like, it's human. Everybody, no matter what species, has fear. You know, the fear of death, the fear of not being able to catch that meal. Like this, it's just human nature of another animal.
So you
going
think
to attack.
fear is instinctive?
It is instinctive.
Okay.
100%, and we choose to let that fear either like make us take a step back.
Is it instinctive or intuitive? Instinct is breathing.
Yeah.
Intuition is I've got a feeling.
So I think it's instinctive because of the nature of the human body. Like, you know, like,
so it's part of our programming.
It's part of our programming, you know, and I think that's
so anyone who
when
says they're fearless
when you're facing a person, or you're facing it. Let's say you're walking through the bush, and then you get like the sudden thing, like, oh, I've got to take a step back. You know, that's your instinct taking in fight or flight. You know, and that's Robert Greene puts it like pretty good. Like, it's you either go forward with like fearlessness, and those are the ones that either conquer a battle, conquer a success in business. You know, they go have that fearlessness in their approach to business, and that's shout out to Robert Greene, fucking cool book.
Yeah, that's a good pointer. So like, yeah, man. And my
but
bro.
What was your family's decisions to be anti-Trump?
You know what, right? Can I tell you the funniest thing? I even stopped listening after.
Really?
I'm like, these are Democrats. I'm like, these are Democrats.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in their. I actually mean that in the political positioning, but what I mean more to say is that everything that Donald Trump talks about, and how even Kanye speaks about it, how like
Kanye, you mean
Ye, man. I'm sorry, Ye. I'm so thanks. You saved my life.
We're getting Ye on the couch one day.
Yeah.
That'll be a great host.
After Joe Rogan.
Bro, after Joe, you have Ye.
Yeah.
Fuck, you blow up.
That'll
bro.
be crazy.
That'll be crazy.
Those are the only two guests we want. But Snoop Dogg also.
And Snoop. He's on my leg. Shout out Snoop.
Yeah, man. So I was like, man, I don't know if these people really have their own opinion on this shit, or then I started, remember that video that we shared, or I don't know if you shared it to me, where Trump is reading all the stats about where the money's been going, from condoms to Gaza, gender, advancing in Afghanistan.
Oh, they were doing crazy stuff.
All these fake accounts.
Yeah, making spending
for corruption,
millions of
maybe not real
American taxpayers' money. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. So shout
out to Elon Musk for undercovering that.
Okay, yeah. So he's telling me also, like, oh, you know, when it comes to Donald Trump, you must be careful about what you read in the news and how it's, you know, he's telling me that the Trump shit is fake news. Okay. Like Trump reading that info.
It's fake.
I'm like, man, nah, these are Democrats. For real.
That's hectic, bro.
Because it's like, you know, you can't deny the Trump effect, right? Because now what it led into, because I hadn't watched that video, was the Zelensky chant.
Yeah.
You know? So
that was
I saw
very interesting.
I think the full video I saw on YouTube was 23 minutes, so I had to find the abridged version, which was 7 minutes. But at the time I hadn't watched it.
I think the whole thing was like 37 something minutes until Trump just kind of kicked him out.
My bro was telling me, did you see what he did? What happened with Zelensky? He was basically telling Zelensky to fuck off. I was like, isn't that what we want? Isn't that a good thing? It's at the time, that's what I thought, because I'm like, from all the interviews and shit I've seen of Trump, you know, he's pro stopping the wars.
Peace, yeah, that's what he's been saying. Yeah.
You know, even this morning on the radio, this thing that he said touched me. Is like, yo, man, we are tired of hearing about young people who died. Yeah. There. I'm like, man, I never heard Joe Biden say some shit like that.
Vance was asked a question regarding what does Trump want to be known in this tenure, you know, this 4-year period, and he said he was a president that brought peace, you know, which was fucking a cool statement. You know, how they're doing it, is it more manipulative, you know, is there more behind the scenes? Because the political landscape, we spoke about this, but it's like also like the music industry is like an onion. The political
Iceberg.
game, bro. The political games also, it's deceptive, but it's been doing this for years. But I do like when you're kind of listening to Trump. Trump's a little bit older now. He sounds very like he wants peace, and Zelensky came into that interview. I don't know,
wanting more money to keep going to war.
Exactly.
And I was
he didn't say anything like I want peace. He was like, look at what Russia's doing, it's terrible. He didn't say anything like, he mentioned it once after something about the securities being given. You know, but he's got no intentions. And did you see when they asked him, this is when I think JD Vance...
How is Zelensky still president? When are the fucking elections there, man?
So it was he got elected in 2019, I think, or 2018.
They need to vote a real person with governance experience, not a fucking actor.
But Donald Trump's a fucking businessman.
It's different from being an actor.
But also, to give credit, Donald Trump never waged war on anybody.
You know, so maybe exactly.
He's just done business deals.
If we're talking about actors, I'd prefer to be president. I'd put money on Tyler Perry to be a better president actor.
Yeah, and you check his wife. Zelensky's wife's been going on these huge ass holidays.
Come on,
big
dog,
ass spending.
what you talking about?
So
that's why he's begging for the money. He's like, man, do you understand? This woman's got a shopping addiction. Please,
bro. So I don't know if he's the best pick. But there's also other people advising him. It's not like it's just him there in the fucking president's suite in Ukraine, like shouting out advice.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because like the Republicans are saying like on their news feed are like, just watch out, let all the news come out about Zelensky and how the Ukrainians have been selling arms at 25% of the value to like Hamas and all of these others to get more funding.
Yeah.
So, you know, but that's a game of like the world is fucking cruel. It's like
cruel and
the government is the either the puppets of the people pulling the strings, or they are the ones pulling the strings in the country with their puppets. So we don't really know what's really going on.
There's always a Geppetto, and even Geppetto, who knows if that Geppetto's even the real boy? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, also, you know what I wanted to say in one of this? JD Vance went to the G20, I think, that was held in Munich, and he had a fucking amazing speech. What was that thing called? The UN. Sorry, he went to the UN and he had this great speech, and he was basically saying like, the biggest downfall of the European nation is the censoring of their voices, right? And coming back to now that Trump was now with the Prime Minister of the UK, just hear this fact. So the UK's whole stance with the Ukraine is like, the Russians are putting people in prison for putting stuff on social media. That was like their ploy back when the Ukrainian war started. How many British people were arrested last year for posting stuff on social media? Just take a guess.
In the UK?
In the United Kingdom.
10,000?
Okay, that was a big guess. 3,300 people were arrested for what they put on social media.
Yeah, but like what?
Just
because some things you should get arrested for them. Like some of those cases, I'm sure are social media users.
So do you think the best thing for people that post something, the best punishment for them is to go to prison?
I mean, if you're being racist, if you're proposing, threatening my life, you for sure go to jail.
So if you are like a terrorist organization that are employing, sure, then you must be apprehended, sat down and see the intentions. But if it's a thought, if it's a differing opinion, that somebody's like, I don't like these people, they should all be removed and sent back from where they were from, which was multiple of the cases in the United Kingdom. That's a thought, and if you're I'm not saying everybody should. My point actually that I want to get to is like you don't have to like what everybody else says, you know, at the end of the day. It's their opinion, it's their thought. You know, it doesn't make that person like ostracized because he said something a bit stupid, like that Bryce Mitchell that said stuff about Adolf Hitler, for example. Adolf Hitler wasn't a bad guy. So like the Americans' amendment is freedom of speech. You know, it's his opinion that he thought Adolf Hitler was a great guy, which is obviously not the opinions of anybody with a fucking 2 cents in their brain.
Maybe,
but that's his opinion, bro.
Maybe Ye right now.
Maybe Ye watched that fucking Bryce Mitchell interview
in his performance.
But what I'm trying to get is like, there is something about you having the ability to speak your mind. You don't have to agree with that person speaking it. You know, you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to disagree with it.
You know,
but people should have the right to voice their opinions, and you can have a dialogue with them, or you can put them in a rehabilitation to see that it's their views so obscure.
But
so
can I tell
put them in prison.
Can I tell you the
don't
truth?
do that.
Can I tell you the truth? Even you're very fortunate to be getting my opinions on things.
Yeah.
I don't like to share my opinion.
Well, are you telling the whole fucking world, you know? Hey? One day.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And I'm putting it online. And, you know, anybody, I'm not afraid to stand up for my opinions, right? But I just don't like to share them. Because I got a lot of opinions on a lot of things. But what I realize is like the lack of tolerance in understanding that that's their view.
But opinions can change.
And opinions can change. Exactly.
So my whole point here was, instead of arresting them, you rehabilitate the people that are obviously off the path.
But then you know when we look at arrest, when we look at the word arrest, and you must understand,
they have
dog.
Prison time, these people.
Yeah, but prison time is 30 days, even.
It's true.
You know, and that's long enough to teach someone a lesson.
I just don't think it just builds more hatred. If you ask me,
for the system,
it builds up resentment.
If you're in jail for social media, you probably already have hatred inside of you. There's something seriously wrong with you.
What we'll do is we'll dive into. I should just AI. We should actually just use the power of AI more.
What do you want to investigate?
Like the extremities of which these social media posts were to get them arrested and put into jail.
Okay.
But the problem is there was 3,300 people that were arrested for voicing an opinion. My belief is you can't arrest them and put them into jail. You can arrest them and rehabilitate them. Because
maybe to give them. I don't know.
The point of having an opinion and having a chat is to have this. And I think that Chris Kirk, he does it a little bit abruptly. You know.
I don't think the point of having an opinion is to have a chat. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't. Probably not the best phrase that I could have used.
Yeah,
but
some people take their opinions as facts. This is the treacherous thing about just openly sharing your opinion with people. Because the moment we start to differ, you start to see me as your enemy.
Yeah, that's if you're a weak-minded individual.
No, it's not even weak-minded, bro. It's more like it's probably indoctrination, if we have to say that. These people can't help but think like that. You understand? They can't help but think like that because from a certain age where they were being schooled on the fundamentals of life, they were taught this is wrong and this is right. And after 16, 21, 25, 30 years, you can't tell this motherfucker shit about shit.
I hear you, but if you want to grow in life,
it's like, okay, you know,
that's up to you.
One question I wanted to ask you. Yes, I'm so glad we're coming through with this angle. Dog, we had a conversation. I think it's on our previous episode that we actually posted, where I was telling you about my grandfather in the context of land expropriation, right?
100%.
And I was like, man, you know, one thing I forgot to ask you on that podcast, because, you know, one, you're opinionated. Two, I think you're actually quite sensible and sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'd really love to know.
You hear that, ladies? Sensitive.
Sensible. I'd really love to know what you think about the land expropriation, but from a black perspective, if you can.
Am I getting the land? Then I'm all down for it.
That's what we want. Like when you think about it,
So,
right?
okay, yeah.
Think about it like this. Let's paint the picture.
Give me more detail of the person I am.
In this scenario,
Yeah, please.
Hypothetically. Okay, now I want you to be the general black person. Maybe you're a middle class black person.
Okay.
Think of you. You said you're 30?
Something.
30x. All right. You think of the black version of you.
Okay.
Where do you think the black version of you lives? Think of your income, average income, but then maybe like deduct about 10 or 15.
Okay. I'm in that.
And let's just say he's employed and you're an
Okay.
entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you
Oh,
are.
he's employed.
Yeah.
Cool. Just
Right.
so I'm earning basic wage type of vibe.
Yeah. If you want, you can throw a number out there. So we're working with the number, but
No, it doesn't matter.
okay, cool.
I got it.
All right. Now think about maybe you stay in the same complex, but every December he tells you that he's going home, and his home maybe is in Limpopo, or it's in the Eastern Cape, or it's in KZN, right? And then KZN, they talk about how before the white people came, their great-grandfather's land went from that side to this side. But now they're confined to this little area here. Now we talk about the land expropriation bill. You as a black person, maybe, possibly.
What's my black name?
We can call you Tabo.
No, I'm Shan. Okay. That's a very interesting angle, I must say. So, I do think there needs to be compensation for both parties, because if this is land that's being used for farming, firstly, that's a life support for South Africa. You know, that's how South Africa makes money, is the export or the food consumption.
Maybe I should also phrase it like this. It's okay to answer however you want to answer. Would you be angry
if somebody took my land?
Historically, yes, that's what happened.
Yeah. So,
your grandfather's land.
So yes, as I hope Tabo, the black self, he also wants to move forward with life. You know what I mean? And historically, there's been wrongs. Fucking, it's been centuries of wrongs. Human race is just fucking up, trying to fix it, somehow degrade.
But there's always some new shit.
There's always some new shit, you know. So looking at it in a way that parties lose something, because, for example, when Tabo's family was moved off of this property now, then the next generation and a generation built and a generation built on that. You know, they made a sustainable economy for the community that they're providing in with that farm. The economy, obviously the money that filters into the economy through tax and whatever is also a boost into the agriculture. So the Land Expropriation Act, which we said is a little bit unknown to the people, it goes through the court process, you know, so hopefully the person is compensated correctly. It could, but there's also scenarios of it.
And how much is compensation? If you think about the historical pain maybe that it caused Tabo's family, what is a justifiable?
Where does that money come from? Tax money?
Yeah, you know,
because you can't now go and penalize a family that's now not even, it's 40 years down the line, 60 years down the line, whenever the land was taken, for example, we don't know, in this scenario, however long it was, if it's 200 years or 20 years, you know, then
would you blame the person or the system?
The system, it's always the system, dude. Like people play the system. That's how life works. And if you don't play the system, then
you suffer.
You're gonna suffer. And it's
system or suffer.
So in this stage, like the Land Expropriation Act, it does need to be looked at because it is quite a big thing.
So
dude.
now,
you see how it's touching the emotional heartstring. Just it's on both sides. So
that's where I was getting.
Even like for them to come out with it without like I said, without coming out with like bulletproof, like if this happens, if there's a case open that there is land that was taken from people, how does it go through the court system? How do you file? How is it expropriated? Does it need to be on that land? Can't they be given other land? And then the government spending the money correctly, which we're paying them, and they spend it fucking incorrectly, can be going to put water and lights into that area where it's not fucking with a business, and it's the people are happy. They got their deeds, they've got pillar, they got money. The problem is, like, I think the South African whites are the minority in this country, but own 70% of the land in this country. Which is a tough thing. But the government also owns a hell of a lot of land.
Yeah. So now, okay, we're building into, right. We've painted the picture of Thabo. We've highlighted your perceived sensibility in that situation, right? Now let's contextualize it. Let's make it relevant to today. We're watching, bro. If there was a record for this, AfriForum broke it. They were explaining to us on radio that the South African embassy struggled to get an audience with the Trump administration, but the AfriForum just pulled up there and they got his audience. So the information about South Africa is being fed directly there, and these guys are also like on this. This expropriation shit is fucked up, and it's like
it just wasn't well thought out, I suppose. And that's what's frustrating. And it's been also done incorrectly in the past, where there's not been compensation, and it's just been like whitewashed, and then farms have been given over to
so what do we do?
Such a great thing.
Are you upset? Are you upset with AfriForum? How should we feel as the people?
I think
how should Thabo feel watching AfriForum do that? Like, I mean, come on, dog. Like, Ernest Rhodes, I think he's the spokesperson.
I want to watch that
with Tucker Carlson. I love Tucker Carlson, but I don't know if I can watch that shit. And I follow Ernest. I just kind of don't want to cringe at the shit he's gonna say. But I know Tucker is very analytical, but I also know that he's nice.
Yeah.
And ever since he's been indie, he's been accommodating.
Bro, so the forces of the political game that happened with AfriForum going over and Solidariteit is, I don't know why the Trump administration would want to do their inside first like that and not meet up with President Cyril Ramaphosa. Maybe because Cyril...
They're flexing, like, we got a connection. We gotta connect.
But like, Cyril also went against them with the whole fucking Israeli thing. Like, they're not standing. and Ramaphosa's also coming out verbally and going against, like, the Trump administration, stating he's not scared without the aid, which is a fair stance to Ramaphosa. We shouldn't be taking the US aid anyways.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be relying on other taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Because we complain about it, We complain that our tax money goes away. Just imagine the Americans, like Doge was showing.
No, and more,
I would be furious.
More so, we know that it's just being stolen.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's the fucking point? Might as well cut it off.
Yeah, but we can't cut off trade, because America's like our biggest trading partner and African trading partner. So it's a very delicate line Ramaphosa's playing on. Yeah. You fuck up that and you put up tariffs, because America's got all these great things for African countries that they don't impose tariffs on certain goods that we export. So you've got to play the game a little bit smart. What do you know
about AGOA? AGOA.
Is that African...
Maybe you should just Google it.
I got it.
What does AGOA stand for? Because it keeps coming up on the news. I hear it's about the chickens they dump on us. Some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think I actually screenshotted something.
So
African Growth and Opportunity Act, that's what I'm talking about. So they give us duty-free access to the US market for certain goods. That's what I was just speaking about.
Okay.
Speaking the same language, you just put the name to it.
Yeah, okay, great.
So you can't, if you put tariffs 25%, then you're placing our goods prices at a way higher price. So why would America then buy from us where they could go to Mexico? Okay, Mexico's also fucked at the moment.
But the other thing is that and this is why I must follow the Trump thread. Yeah. Right? His policies. He's putting the tariffs so that they do it themselves. Yeah. He's like, okay, no. If you want to import your shit here and make money from this, you're gonna have to pay us first. And from that perspective, I love that idea. You know,
it's a great idea if you had a fucking 500 million economy.
I'm saying it's great for them.
Yeah, for
right.
them, yeah.
For him, he's like, okay, fine. He's putting the tariffs up because he knows we got the capacity. We want to make jobs now.
Yeah, we can do it.
You understand? So my thing is also like, okay, fine. You mean to tell me that, okay, bro, we'll find another market.
It's like a little bit of a bully scenario.
It's that thing of comfort. People are scared of losing a goer because they don't know who's going to buy their shit at the price that they sell it at.
Yeah.
But it's like, fam, you have to move with the times. You cannot cry about this.
Yeah.
We're in BRICS now, guys. We're in BRICS now. Send those fucking chickens to Brazil.
Yeah, exactly.
Send them to India. You know how many fucking people there are in India?
Have to move with the times.
Do you know how many people there are in India? What about China?
A billion people.
You think they don't eat chicken there?
They only eat chicken, dude. They love cows.
Let's go, dude.
They love cows.
It's
true,
bro.
dude.
Like so I'm listening to those guys.
You play the game, bro.
You cannot. I guess
that whole thing about fear, bro.
That's what I was saying. It ties back to that.
Robert Greene, though.
It ties back to that because like it's the fear of a change in the economy, a change in the market. But like Sam Cooke said it, change gon' come.
Yeah,
it's gon' come.
Roll with the fucking punches.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's true.
So
it's gonna be interesting times, dude. And the whole Zelensky thing with the war, I don't know. Like you say, I don't know how he became president. It sounds like he's a little bit.
Do you know he was on a TV show where he was acting as president?
Bro,
he used to be. I'm like, yo, who writes this?
Yeah. But we are living in a movie, bro. Donald Trump. Who would have thought Donald Trump would have been the United States president?
But if you watch his thread, bro, if you watch that guy's like early 80s, 90s interviews and people's docies on YouTube, I've watched a few about him. You can see, bro, he had it in his eyes. Yeah, nothing was gonna stop that.
True. He had the belief, yeah.
So it's like, bro,
true.
What you're asking is like, in 10 years, are we gonna be referring to Ye as the president of the United States?
Definitely not.
You never know.
I don't think so. But no disrespect to Ye.
Yeah, they're gonna kill him. Yeah, they're gonna kill him.
If he's not already dead.
Let me.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Oh,
but
man.
You know, I'm gonna back Trump. I'm still gonna back him. I'm gonna give him a couple. Let it play out a little bit. But I like what he's doing in America, and like you say, people just got to change course, make new plans, and just move on. We've got it. Like fucking the Ugandan people have fucking Nalda. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're always going to figure it out.
We always will.
We're always going to figure it out. So what I wanted to say about Yang, I read this, and it just made my day. It says, sometimes I read my tweets and I think that's too far. Then I go further. I'm like, yeah, I love that.
You said, okay, whoa. At the beginning of the thing, you were like, some people need to be arrested for their thoughts. You know what I mean? But he's the king of this stuff.
You think so? This is the thing about art, dog.
Oh, so now it's art if you say something. So only because it's yay, it's not like freedom of speech is a beautiful thing, dude. I fucking continue with what you were saying about yay.
Freedom of expression.
I hear you.
Yes, and you're also free to not express.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? And as long as nobody's dying or is dead because of what you said.
Okay. Very valid point.
Maybe it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
So to provoke a conversation, to stimulate dialogue through what did they say on that song? It gets the people going.
Yeah.
Provocative.
It's provocative. It gets the people going.
And that's the thing, man. And that's the game our comrade Ye is playing.
I hear you.
Our Ye. That's what he's doing.
Marketing genius.
Yeah, like we also did bring it up in the past that every time he's trended over his tweets in recent times, there's been something happening. Yeah. This past weekend was the Oscars.
Yeah. What did you do this weekend?
He went crazy again too. He actually there was a picture that was taken where he's wearing a black swastika on a white shirt. I'm like, yo, I'm getting tired of defending this dude, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even defending him anymore. Now I'm just letting people's comments pass. Like, but I don't know, man. I don't know how it makes me feel because you choose how it makes you feel at the end of the day. How a statement makes you feel. How words from a tweet make you feel. What I mean is not even about him. It's about the impact of what he's saying and doing on our society. I mean, for example, when Diddy, this guy drops a Sean John Combs. Yeah. Sean Diddy John Combs. That's his full name. Yeah. So the brand's name is Sean John. It's clothing. Yeah, he drops a provocative collab, and I don't even know if it was real. All I know is that he dropped it and people are gonna talk about it. And I'm like, man, I'm also an entrepreneur, right? And I'm looking at it like, man, am I prepared to do anything to sell my product?
That's a tactic, bro.
Am I prepared to dream up a character?
Yeah, it's a tactic. It's
embody it all for the sake of making my product sell.
Bro, that's the game he's playing, dude. And he's playing.
But what about you? Are you prepared to do that back?
I don't think so. No, I like to be a true, authentic self. To be honest.
Yeah.
And I do know that in business you do have to make ruthless decisions. You do have to be deceptive. But I'll also do it in a way that I feel comfortable in doing. Like, how do you find out about who's supplying who? Or how do I get in contact with it? Just be smarter about it where I don't feel like I work to get this. You know what I mean?
Or you scammed to get it.
You know what I mean? It's all about perspective at the end of the day, like, and who you are. But I couldn't do it, but I know a lot of people that do put up this facade and put up this face to get to people to react certain ways and to get the movement happening. And bro, then there might be a big end reveal at the end of the day. But you don't, or you put on that facade until you're in the grave.
That's what I mean when I say it makes me think. Like, it's even beyond Kanye now. Now it's like, man, all I see when I see this dude is somebody who is selling, no matter what. Just trying to always, bro. This I didn't tell you. As soon as the first one, Grammy weekend, that's the first time he went viral, and he was talking about. It's always the Jews getting it. Oh yeah, and he said fuck Virgil, Yeah, he said that. He went viral. I mean, I'm talking about 12 hours later, YouTube videos, think pieces on his rant and where he's at with his life. So I clicked on one who I regularly watch, this time I was like, yeah, I wonder what he has to say. I click, and this guy really starts off the video disrespecting Ye, undermining him, etc., etc., and saying, even though I don't want to, I'm going to have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Nah, he lost my respect. He lost my respect. He lost my respect immediately, because I'm like, this guy did it for the views.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the views, and like you're not like, this is exactly why Ye is winning. This is exactly why Ye is winning. You think you're harming the, you think you're raising awareness. Stay away from him. If you didn't want us to think about him, you shouldn't have fucking made a video about it.
Fucking true. Keep him out of your mouth. Will Smith has a lot to say about that. Keep your mouth.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. I just feel like Kanye is making me think. Ye is making me think a lot about, like the hustle.
Bro, you don't always have to believe or share the same views or beliefs as somebody. As long as he's not really harming people, which I believe no harm has come from what Ye has ever said on Twitter ever. Like how we said.
I don't know if anyone's ever.
You have to check like
violence.
You have to look at like how we said on the Elon and the Nazi salute thing. You have to check the back history. And Kanye's just been a bit of a fucking outside the box type of dude always. So you take it.
But didn't you have a theory that it was cloned?
Skin value. I did have a theory it's cloned, bro. Or he has a double that walks around often. I don't know, but like, it would make sense that they shut him up, because sometimes he speaks up, like some conspiracies where you're like, fuck, that's fucking true, and you're like, damn, he's speaking about this publicly to a lot of influential people, and like a lot of people have been killed for a lot less in this world. You know what I mean?
Yo, it actually makes me think of something quite crazy.
But it is a conspiracy.
His next album is called Bully.
Bully?
Yeah. And it's like, is he bullying the Jews?
Bully the Jews?
Is that...
What did you just say? God damn.
Is Ye bullying the Jews?
Oh, the Jews.
Yeah.
Crazy. You would like that. Oh shit. That's hectic, bro.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this character who's about to drop his album that's called Bully, and he's really going aggressive. And like it just
Israeli, this fucking album or what?
No. Anti. I think he's going anti-Jew, dog.
Fuck. Okay.
He's going anti-Jew.
So stupid.
Like he's hitting that switch.
like I wish everybody could just live in my head. It's very nice up there.
Yeah, it's peaceful.
But it's just like people getting along. Easy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm too optimistic, because I'm like, I really think open dialogue with like an open mind can lead to a fucking lot, bro.
Let me ask you another question, Doug.
It can. Yo, you know what I really wanted to speak about? Sorry.
Okay.
It's, like this BEE. They should just diminish the word black and just say less or previous disadvantage or disadvantaged.
Economic empowerment.
Yeah. Like any race can sign up if they feel
HEE, holistic economic empowerment.
Dude, it would solve so many problems. You know what I mean? Just reform all that shit to say less, like,
or WEE. We.
There will be
wholesome economic.
The facts is there will be a lot more. Of obviously the black people they will filter in a lot more, but there would also be the white people that also want to try. Yeah. If they have the right, fucking let them go for it. Just change this whole landscape of like segmenting people into fucking blocks, because then we're never going to get around it. It's going to be a problem for fucking ever. Yeah. And I don't know if
are you being pressed by BEE currently?
No, not me ever. Never have.
You're compliant.
No, never in my frame of industry did it happen. Okay, except for when we were selling coffee, you had to have BEE to sell to certain like property groups. You know, and our company was not BEE until very much later. They had to get with the times, you know. But it wasn't like that. That was just a name on a piece of paper, you know.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. It's being misused.
Yeah.
Inappropriately. Like,
for sure.
That's why I say if everybody lived in my head, it would be a great place, because then money would be spent properly to help the people that are less fortunate, less educated. The money actually goes there. You know, and then you live in a world that's less uneducated, which are then future entrepreneurs, future workforce labor that's going to stick around and not complain and fucking strike all the fucking time, and then demands which are obviously not going to happen, so you prolong the strike out even longer, and then the economy takes it. It's pretty counterproductive, if you ask me.
No, I totally, completely agree. Yeah.
So that was my thought on BEE. Sorry.
No,
I thought it was a great time to bring it up.
No. I think it was good for you to bring it up. I have no reason to counter or oppose your opinion. You know? Oh. Yeah, I think you articulated it quite well.
Let's just be nice to everybody.
What I know we're gonna have polarizing opinions on.
God, what?
Is remember that person who prevented our previous podcast from happening, the guy who said some really strong prayers.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's him. Maybe everybody.
The whole family.
No, because it's gotten pretty intense now.
Is it?
Yeah, there's been arrests made.
Okay.
So all parts.
So just to be a little less mysterious, we are talking about Zenzu.
The inhumane acts that were...
in our previous episode, on our last episode, it even got passionate. You thought I was talking to you.
Oh yeah.
Because
he was angry at me, bro.
I was touched.
He was angry.
I was touched by like some of the things, you know, because, and I'll repeat it and ask the question like, why isn't there an offer to compensate? Wow. If these were really victims at this person's premises, and it's that is the confirmed part. Nobody's disputing that. Why? What effort is being made to offer?
I'm pretty sure
remedial.
I'm pretty sure in my statement because it was like a cross-examination that was happening with Uno. So I say in my statement that I gave last time, I'm pretty sure all parties, because this is going to go through the courts. Like I said, we've got great courts in this country, good judges. It should go to the court process, and those people should be compensated. You know, whether it's at fault of the management or whether at fault of the bouncing security that is in charge. You know, because as a business, it's quite difficult to have subcontractors. Obviously, as a company, I would want to compensate and help the families if anything, but this is such a difficult topic.
You make it a little more interesting when you mention subcontractors, because, you know, for me, my background is in construction, right? Yeah. So like, you know, if I think about it, maybe from that technical understanding of like a relationship between a contractor and a subcontractor, it's like, bro, ultimately my client is going to hold me responsible.
I'm 100%. And if you listen to the voice notes that were published on Pablo, he said, go to the media, I will take my consequences like a man. He said that in the voice note. You know, you can play it, go find it on TikTok or wherever.
I think for the first time I saw some of those snippets yesterday.
Viewer discretion advised, because a lot of it was barbaric and inhumane. And, you know, and I'm sure everybody that watched it would be like, what the fuck is going on? You know? But also, like he said, I'll go through the court procedures and let's see what happens. And he'll take his consequences like a man, like he said. And that's what the courts are there to do. You know? I think the nightclub industry, if people aren't aware, is a wild place. It's a place where, like, a lot of like adults are learning about life and they do stupid things consecutively, and the misinformation that it was people that paid their bills, it was not that, it was phone thieves that came out later in like the evidence. But people have been arrested, bouncers that were caught on video saying stuff. Consequences should be happening, but there's also a sense of, like we spoke, like the police do their best, I'm sure, but there is cases of people getting pickpocketing, getting caught, and then they're out, and the very next day you see them in the streets. So the justice system isn't perfect. The police service isn't perfect. If we lived in the world that I'm talking about in my head, then bro, you call the police because you've just caught pickpockets. They go to jail, they serve time, they're rehabilitated properly, they're not in jail where they're next to gangbangers and drug trade very active in the prisons, and you can pretty much get a cell phone, do anything in the prisons. So we've got to like the layer of like craziness that we have, like to fix first before this would ever be fixed, because bro, it was caught on video here. Do you think other clubs in Joburg haven't done similar things, or hopefully a lot less fucking barbaric, because that's what they made them do, was inhumane. But like, I'm sure a couple of owners have beat other pickpockets or people senseless, because it's Africa at the end of the day, bro. It's like jungle justice happens all the time because we don't live in the perfect fucking world, but not to say that we condone that type of fucking shit ever. I believe there's better ways. You call the better fucking police people that and you make them spend time in jail, you follow up on the cases.
You said the shit has escalated, you mean in terms of like arrests?
Yeah, arrests have been happening, bouncers involved, people in the videos. So we'll see what comes. I feel sorry for like the mental damage or scarring that it had on these individuals, and I definitely don't think they were stealing any fucking phones anytime after that, bro. Fuck. But not a lacquer one.
Not a lacquer one at all.
Sad day.
It's crazy that actually drive past that place quite often, and like just to think that they're doing that there. They were doing that right here. At that place.
But I'm sure, like I say, I think if you lift the veil
crazy
of the world, people will be fucking shit scared to come out, bro. The world's a scary place.
Yeah, people are doing crazy shit out here.
Especially here in Africa, bro. Fuck.
Speaking about crazy shit.
TIA, baba.
TIA indeed. I know, TIE.
This is your
Earth. Now, Earth is wild. Life is wild.
Life is crazy at the moment.
Yo, let's do some confessions.
Bro, the best of the confessions.
I like the ones that you brought out.
Nice. Let me open those up. I don't know if I sent it to the group.
I don't remember if I meditated too deeply on them. I was like, these are interesting. So hit me.
Let me start with
hit me with a confession.
I earn a really good salary of around 50k plus, but come a month end, I only have maybe 300 in my account.
I remember this one.
Is this normal, or are people actually saving money? Uno, I want you to respond.
Black guy.
Do you race?
Yeah.
Or a white dude that's got a gambling addiction?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Sounds like a white dude with a gambling addiction.
No, didn't give us enough information. But how can we tell it's a he?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Could be a chick.
No, let me tell you.
People are just living above their means all the time, bro.
This is not true.
It's not a person.
It's not a real confession, bro. That's impossible. 300 rand.
Bro, it's just people that are living out of their means, wanting to fit in.
No way, it's not 300 bucks. It can't be.
So let's say you finance your car, BM M, 2 series or 3 series. There's 15k insurance. Then you've got a house in Sandton or in mainland Maine, 15k. So you're already sitting on 30. Then you've got a salary of around 50k, so this might not be around tax.
No, let's give him tax free. Let's just say
tax free. Okay.
Yeah, let's just assume he's intelligent enough to give us that
then
clue.
Let's see the other water and electricity. Let's not even call this insurance. Let's say we said accommodation was 15k.
Okay, yes. So
we'll call that 15k all inclusive water.
What about his groceries?
Yeah, groceries.
Does he have a girlfriend?
Yeah, probably. But just slow down on your means, bro.
Hey?
Slow down on your means, because at 50k, you want to be spending around 30k. You know, all in all, saving 20k.
This is what I wanted us to talk about this, bro. I must be a little bit good at something.
Yeah.
For me to be earning that 50k. You mean to tell me I'm not sharp enough to understand where my money is going?
Yeah, fuck you.
Nah, man, come on.
Maybe that's why it's a goal. People are a little bit more reckless with their finances. Like in general.
Yeah.
But on the other case, my mom she's so on it.
Also me, I also believe that not even my sister. No, I don't think it's a girl either.
This guy's an idiot though. He's just living above his means. Just do a spreadsheet, dude. Like how much money you make and what you're spending your shit on.
Read some Susie Orman. Do something.
Dude, shut up. It's not the most difficult thing. Go on your ABSA or whatever bank you use. No, we're not sponsored by ABSA. It would be a cool one, I suppose.
Especially if they're giving us money.
Yeah. It's like, why don't they just send us like an e-wallet? It's already fake, you know what I mean? But yeah, this guy just got to do a spreadsheet. Check where you're spending your money.
No, you know what? This one I can't tell who it is. I can't tell if it's a black, white, woman, man. Because it's definitely not an Indian person.
No,
Indian
or
people
a Jew.
Generally.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not a Jew.
All right.
Okay. This I don't know if I should do this one or this one, but this is quite an interesting debate, and maybe we should speak about it because we spoke about PMS.
Okay.
And so like it fits in with the theme of the scenario. I just found out that I am 5 weeks pregnant. I've always advocated to keep the baby, but now that I'm the one that's pregnant, I feel different. I'm scared of the spiritual impacts that will have on me. The father is supportive of my decision, is making sure I'm comfortable every step of the way. But what if he secretly wants to keep it? Pretoria. So this could be you. Oh shit. Oh, you don't even stay in PTA.
You're killing me, man.
I stay in PTA.
Yeah, that could be.
So it could be me.
No, but you are not worried about the spiritual impacts. And you can't get pregnant.
I can't get pregnant. When it struck me a little bit because I have been put in this situation. So
you've been put in this situation, or you were in that situation?
I was not if somebody went on confessions. I've had this choice. And
That's what I mean.
Been a supportive person.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that you were not put in that situation. No, you were in that situation.
Yeah.
The big difference.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But fuck. This is a choice that I think needs to be a financial life choice.
I think she's projecting. I think she wants to keep the baby.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to bring it up with him. That's how you have to.
Yeah, because he's comfortable, obviously.
Yeah, he's like, yo, whatever you need, I got you.
Yeah. I'll be there, baby, holding your hand.
What if he secretly wants to keep it? That's such an obscure thing to think, because he's supporting you getting rid of it.
My advice would be, I would just say it. I would be like, I want to keep the baby and see his reaction, and you know what I mean.
For me, the two big clues there are: one, spiritual; two, what if he secretly?
Spiritual's a tough one.
The spiritual one is what is causing her to be afraid of doing it.
Because then, like at at 5 weeks, the baby's very much not a baby. It's just like a group of cells at this stage. So if you've been having sex, I don't know why I whispered that. If you've been having sex with a partner, bro, it's like that cum just coming out of you again. It's just a little bit deeper in, and like the molecules have changed. I went a little bit deeper into this, and I was like, I wonder when consciousness occurs for the first time in pregnancy.
Yeah,
because that's when I would be like, whoa.
Consciousness of the pending child.
The pending child. Consciousness of the fucking fetus.
Not her consciousness.
Not her. That's straight away. And I know that fucks up a girl. You know, I've seen it firsthand. That's like, it definitely a lot. Like, you think PMS, times that by like 3. It's really a lot of emotions that are coming through. Obviously, a lot of chemical things to get that out.
So what are you saying?
Pardon?
What are you saying actually?
Yeah, once.
What? So, you guys terminated?
Yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah. And I didn't think of at the time. I didn't think of it as a spiritual or nothing. You know, I thought of it as like.
Do you want?
Are
you open
kind of
to
life.
Talking about it a little bit?
Fuck it, I don't care. It's part of my life.
I have a few questions.
Go for it.
What about now?
Right now, I would have said it's a great choice. Great choice.
Has there been a spiritual?
No, I think about it, like, I wonder how I would have been. Like, would have I pushed through? Like I said in the beginning of this, like, parents do make the change, make the effort, but we weren't ever going to stay together. So you've got a broken relationship. Number one,
good for the kid.
Not good for the kid. Number two, like, financially, I know, like, the dips that I had later on in my life after having this, how would have I handled those while being responsible for a kid? That would have been bad parenting. It would have been like...
Is it that you didn't want it?
No, I didn't feel I want a kid one day. I just don't think that was the right time. And we are blessed, and maybe it bites me in the ass one day. Maybe I'm not able to have kids one day because of this, like, spiritually karma getting me fucked, you know. I take that on the chin, no problem.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Plan B.
I'm not afraid. So, which
you should have used.
Yeah, but like, I'm also grateful to have had the option, you know, and she had the option to keep it. And then I would have had to be there. You know, I know my personality wouldn't have been like, you know what, cheers, I'm out.
Who was the lead in that decision?
No, definitely always the female. Never my decision. It's not my body. You know, like, that's why I would have taken it on the chin, like I would have taken my decision.
But how were those conversations?
In my case, quite fortunate, because they knew the implications for them at their stages of their life, whether it was at that stage student or busy starting a work life. You know, like, it's the reality of things. And for this chick, my one response would be like, it's 5 weeks, it's pretty early, you're going to take a pill, you're going to feel shit for 2 days, and you're going to feel fine. Like, you're going to have a little bit of mental scarring on what could have been, but what could have been on a lot of things in your life.
Ask him, he's a survivor.
Yeah. What if I get fucking struck on the head by a coconut? You know, you can't live in what if land.
You're a survivor.
Yeah, or if you want to keep it. But also, like, my one friend, I checked, he had a child, and he kept it, you know, and now he's with the girl, and they're fucking in love with each other, and the baby's flourishing. She's a beautiful little girl, and he said, have the baby. But I also know that his wife's mother is rolling in the money. You know, so it also makes a difference when you've got support and you can have the ability to have it.
That's the thing, dog. It's like the support will come. You can't have the support before the need arises. Okay, yes. Generally, you can. You can, but you won't see how much.
Okay, but you can't stop somebody from being fucking pregnant once it starts. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
but
why
even
the girl's
even
choice.
the support.
It's never the dude's choice.
Okay, no, fair enough.
You know
fair enough. Yes. I get what you're saying in that regard. What I'm saying is, like, maybe from a male perspective, you know, I'll tell you some real shit too from my mom. I'm pretty sure she threatened me, dog. She must have threatened me. It was a threat. if you ever have a child out of wedlock, you must never. You know, and it's like,
I think that's a fucking good rule to live by.
I also, like, generally, yes, but you know, shit does happen. It hasn't happened to me, praise the Lord, right? But do you mean to tell me, as my mother, when you're holding your grandchild, my child, you're going back, nah, it's not from wedlock?
Yeah, but I've seen it. I've seen it ruin families, bro.
I get it, right? I get it. I do understand that, and I'm not undermining my mom's potential to do that at all, right? What I'm saying is that the support will come.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
It takes a village to raise a child, type of scenario,
and it might not be your village.
I agree. I agree, dude. I agree. One of my close homies, he's a little bit younger than me. He's having a child unexpectedly, you know, and his decisions to keep it. And I think he's got the village and he's got the supports of his friends, and like, I think his friends are more excited than fucking he is at the moment, you know, because it's their first baby of the friend group type of vibe.
Yeah, you remind me actually of another story. A friend of mine.
Goddamn, I know that it would have not been the right decision. And so for you, chick, I think we've given you good opinions. What would you do?
Me.
Yeah, but you're not a chick, so we really can't give advice on this.
No, the question she's asking is he secretly...
But what if he secretly wants to keep it?
He doesn't. That's the answer.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't.
Because if he wanted to keep it, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's what guys do.
Yeah.
They're like, look, I can't. Bro, I got a homie.
Would you see I want to keep it?
You know what, man? I probably would, and that's what scares me. That's why. That's
you'd
fine.
Be a good dad.
You think so? A lot of people say that, but
I think so.
I want to be convinced.
I think guys.
But I also appreciate that. Thank you.
I think anybody that wants to learn and grow and appreciate life will be good parents.
Yeah.
Because I think it is the final phase of like a lot of things in life, and if you don't go through that, but I guess you can get it other ways.
Do you want to be a parent?
Yeah, when the world's not as fucked up. So for the man, like 38, 44, I don't care.
Don't you think you have to move?
Move where?
Somewhere else.
No, South Africa will be fine. We're going through a teething phase. We're 30 years young. Okay. You know, in my mind.
Yeah, I like how you
if you look at the American fucking things, it wasn't rain shine since the British got kicked out, you know. If they went through phases, we're going through phases. We got through quite a fucking mean one, and now we're moving. Obviously, there's shit like we say, the ANC, obviously, and the GNU doing maybe things that don't benefit the country in the ways that they should be, but things will change.
Yeah.
People will come into power that are a little bit more in tuned with what needs to happen and how things have to happen, and hopefully the rest of the world wakes up. You know, if we lived in my age, that's tomorrow. You know, unfortunately we don't. We live in the fucking world where people will lie and cheat and steal.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's change.
Yeah.
And we just have to.
No, we have to be that. Isn't this the second time we come to this conclusion?
Yeah.
As we conclude.
But we have to have these differing opinions and talk about our opinions. That's what I was trying to get to at the very beginning. We have to have these opinions, and it's important to talk sometimes about and get to know your views and your beliefs.
Talking is one thing, man, but the real skill people need to learn is listening.
Oh, yeah, true. That's very true.
You know, some people listen to respond instead of listening to understand.
Facts.
You know, like if someone has something to say immediately after you said, once you send,
no, facts.
You have every right to ask yourself, did this person understand?
No, you're speaking. It's very wise words. You know, I see you turned older. Fuck. Yeah.
I did.
But but that's what you have to have. You have to have that belief of going in, listening to them, not having you can have judgment. Have judgment. Yeah. But don't let it like cloud.
It's exactly
your
you know, you're allowed to be wrong. People who I think judge or can't tolerate other people's opinions and stances on things are people who are just afraid of being wrong.
Yeah.
It's an insecurity thing.
Yeah, fear. Once
you know what I'm saying? Like the world is
goddamn fear.
It's such a spectrum.
Could be more like Curtis
things.
Jackson.
The world is. You mean 50 Cent? Wow. No one has ever brought 50 up so lightly. But yeah, no man. I think you know, maybe that's what is the great thing about smoking weed is that like you can always have a conversation that has like this but always mellows out. Then you can fade away. You know, we've spoken about it. It's cool, and everything always ends up trying to be on some one love shit. And I think that's really the thing.
Yeah. Bro, I think hopefully the Trump effect does bring with it what he said, which is peace. Like he wants.
He said the word of the day of the
podcast.
Teething.
Teething.
The world, we're teething.
Yeah.
Because of the Trump effect.
Yeah. Well, I think Trump just accelerated things. But I'm glad he came into power because the wokeism was rifling into a lot of bad decisions. Yeah, it was getting very, very bad. So at least we've got some sensibility to it, not to ban, not to do anything like derogatory to other people, to say, cool, you have your opinions, we have our opinions, you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs. We don't have to fucking agree on everything, but we're going to get along and we're going to unify to make the country that we live in fucking cool. And I think that's what every country should try to accomplish. Not rocket science, and not steal from the people. That would be great, man. Cut down on government fucking. We've got deputy ministers. Why do we have a deputy minister? Why isn't he just a minister? You know? Why is there so many members in cabinet that are getting crazy salaries?
One has to be the star. And there's someone who has to do the work.
Bro, but there's really simple fixes.
Yeah.
You know, and it just takes. It's gonna be a long time. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a couple more. It's not gonna be this fucking century. It will be this century, but I don't think it's gonna be in like 2026. You know, it's gonna be more years and more years of pushing.
There's an old song that goes, "We shall overcome. We shall overcome one day. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome." We actually sang that song marching.
Oh, nice.
For cannabis.
Oh, really?
We shall overcome. It's a good song. It's a good thing to remember. Yeah. Shane.
You know the man.
It's been a good
You know the dank man.
The dank dude.
The dank dude. A good loud spoken gentleman.